Hey, today we are going to write equations of circles. We can use the distance formula to find an equation of a circle and derive the formula for the equation of a circle, which is right here. X minus h to the second power plus y minus k to the second power equals my radius to the second power. H and k are just your center. So let's go ahead and write that into the box. You can print this out or you can download it and write on your paper. Okay, so you will always have a parenthesis x minus. You just have to put in your x value, which we name h here, and then plus y minus, and then you have to put in your y value of the center. And then you put the parenthesis square equals my radius squared. So h and k, like this here, h, k, that's my center of the circle. And my radius is r, and I would plug it in here. We're going to do some examples like this one. Write the equation of a circle with the center 5, negative k. So h is 5, and k is negative 6. hk. And my radius of 5, so my radius is 5. So I would just plug them in. I would say x, okay, x minus my h. My h is 5. Okay, minus my h, which is 5. Then I would put this square plus y. The y always stays there. X and y stay there. My y minus k, which is the y value of the center. So it's negative 6. See the negative? It's negative 6. So negative 6 squared equals my radius squared. So my radius is 5. So I'm going to write 5 squared. So I'm going to just rewrite it. So I have x minus 5. This stays the same. X minus 5 to the second power, right? Parentheses second power. Plus, now here is where I have to use my algebra. Minus, remember that becomes a plus. Y plus 6 squared equals 5 squared is 25. 25. And so this would be the equation of the circle. Okay, and so this would be my equation. So from here I can find my center. So if I wanted to find my center, I would say, well, my center is 5, right? My center is at 5, comma. Okay, I know this should be a minus right here, but it's a plus, so I know it's a negative 6. So 5, negative 6. And my radius, if I just look at the equation, my radius is not 25, but remember this number squared. So what number squared is 25? So my radius would be the square root of 25. And the square root of 25 is 5. So my radius is 5. So just looking at my equation, I can find my information, and having my information, I can write my equation. We're going to practice this in a second. Okay, try number 2. Here's the formula for the equation of a circle. The equation for the equation of a circle. Go ahead and plug these in. It's negative 4, negative 2, and my radius is 7. Okay, let's see how you did. There is always an x here. There's always a plus here. There's always a y here. There's always a minus. Okay, so x minus my h value. H is negative 4, so I'm going to put negative 4. And then my k, y minus k. So my k is negative 2, and it's always hk, like hokey pokey. So hk, so negative 2. Or hockey. You could either way, whatever you want to remember, but hk. Okay, equals 7 to the second power. Okay, so I write it down, then I use my algebra. So I know minus minus becomes a plus, right? So x plus 4, and I know that this side, the other side, the same thing, right? okay, I'm going to do minus minus, so you can't have two negatives, it becomes a plus. So y plus 4. Plus 2 squared equals, and 7 squared is 49. Right? So when I look at this, I know that this should be a minus. So I know right away, well, this is a negative 4, comma, negative 2. And then my radius is the square root of 49, which is 7. Okay, let's try number 3. Write the equation circle with a center of 3, negative 7, and a radius of 10. Okay, so for number 3, you can always start your writing it like this because the x will always be there, minus a y, minus the square, the plus, the parentheses. That will always be there. So plug in your numbers. Remember this one's the H and HK like hockey? HK, hockey. That's, you got to find a way to remember HK. H is always first. Okay, good. Should have wrote a 3 in here and a negative 7 and then 10. Just write the 10 in to the second power. And then do the next step and rewrite it. So I rewrote x minus 3 squared because just like that, there's no algebra to do in here. Here you have a little bit of work here. See that minus minus? Because of plus, so I'm going to put y plus 7. And then I'm going to do my 10 squared. 10 times 10 is 100. So that's 100. Okay, so now they can ask you, they can give you this equation and ask you, well, look at this equation and find your center. Well, I just look at it. The minus should be there, so my center is 3. There it is, 3. Okay, this one doesn't have a minus. There has to be a minus, so I know this is a minus negative 7. And here it is, negative 7. And then my radius will be the square root of 100. So what, because I know that it's squared. See my formula? It's squared. So I know that to undo a square, you have the square root. So what's the square root of 100? It's 10. 10 times 10 is 100. So my radius is 10. So just by looking at this, I can come up with my center and my radius, which we're going to have to do next. I think we have one more practice problem. Okay, let's try number 4. So it says write the equation of a circle with the center at 0, 5. So I know this is h, k, and a radius of 6. So just go ahead and plug them in. Plug in your h and k and my radius, but then square it. Okay, so I put the equation in. All right, so x minus h is 0, so x minus 0. So second power minus y minus k is negative 5, so negative 5 equals my radius, which is 6 squared. Okay, that's your first step. Now rewrite it. So we change this, right? Plus plus. And then I would write 36 here. Okay, since it's a 0, I'm just going to write x squared because I have no number here. So x squared minus y plus 5 to the second power, look at that little 2 here, to the second power, equals 36. Okay, so now we're going to use what we learned. Okay, so we're given the circle below. Find the center, the radius, and write the equation. So here's my center. So I have to count over 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, negative 4. So my center is at 1, comma, negative 4. 1, negative 4. That's my center. And my radius, just count. Radius is halfway, right? So it's 1, 2, 3. So my radius is 1, 2, 3. So my radius is 3. Then I write my equation. And remember, your equation always has your x minus, right? So you just write this part, squared and plus y minus k. Oops, I'm not going to write the k. Minus k, right? Squared equals my radius squared. So my h is 1, so x minus 1. Then my y is negative 4, so negative 4 you write the -4, and then I know that has to be a plus plus, right? So I can do that. And then my radius squared. So my radius was 3, so 3 squared. So my radius is 4, so it's 3. 3 squared is 9. So I'm going to put a 9 right here. There you go. Try number 6. Okay, so here's number 6. Find your center. So go x to 4 and then down -3. So it'd be 4, comma, -3. Find your radius. Just count. What's my radius? The radius is halfway from the center to the edge of the circle. And then write your equation. Find your center. Okay, my center is 4, -3. So 4, -3 is my center. So 4, -3. So you go across 1, oh, it's counting by double 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to go down 1, 2, 3. This is tricky, but see how it's counting? So it's 4, -3 is my center. And my radius, so count your radius. Your radius is this part here, so my radius is going to be 1 whole jump. So 1. That's kind of tricky because it looks like it's 2, but it's counting by 1. It's counting those 2 as 1 big hop. So this is 1 hop. Radius is 1. In my equation, go ahead and write your equation. So x minus 4, right? So you put the 4 in. And then y minus -3. So put a -3. And I already know that's going to be plus plus. And then my radius is 1, so 1 squared, and 1 squared is just 1. Okay, check your answers. Let's do number 7. Find your center, the radius, and then write the equation. Okay, my center is at 1, 1. So 1, 1. My radius is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Radius is 5. And now write your equation. Okay, so we'll plug in x minus 1 squared, because that's my h, and my k is 1. Y minus 1 squared equals 5 squared. So we rewrite this, and it stays the same because there's still negative, negative, and you just write 25 at the end. Because 5 squared is 25. Okay, last practice problem like this one. Go ahead and try this one. Find a center, radius, and write the equation. Okay, your center, you should have gotten -2, 1, because you go x, comma, y, -2, 1. And my radius, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So write your equation. Okay, so write x minus, so it's a -2, so minus -2. Squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 5 squared. So right here, I'm going to make sure I put a +2, right, when I rewrite it. Let's go ahead and so rewrite it. You write the +2 because it's a negative, and then the 25 right here. And this is the correct answer. Good. Okay, one more item that we're going to talk about. Okay, number 9 says, given this equation, find the center and the radius. So I already know this is my center right here. But these have to be, there has to be a minus here. So I know if it's a plus, that means that this 2 was a -2. So my center is going to be -2. Same thing here. See how there's a plus sign? There should be a minus sign. So I know if there's a plus sign, that was a minus negative, right? So I know this has to be a -4. So -4. And then my radius is going to be this number, but it's not this number because I know that that is a number that is raised to the second power. So to find my radius is just the square root of whatever number that is. So square root of 16. That's my radius. And the square root of 16 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Try number 10. Okay, good. You should have gotten your center to be these two numbers. But remember, there has to be a negative, so that minus sign, so there's a minus, so that's good. So this one is just a 12. Okay, here there is no minus sign. So I know that that was a minus negative. So I know this is a -10. So I'm going to write -10. then I know that my radius is whatever this number, the square root of that number. So the square root of 12. That's your answer, square root of 12. This is probably the trickiest, finding the radius. Let's go over that real quick one more time. So the radius, remember when we did this, we put the number in here and then we squared it. Remember, this is radius to the second power. So something, the radius to the second power. So what number to the second power is 12. So to find that, all you have to do is square root that number, 12. So my radius is the square root of 12. Over here, my radius would be the square root of 16. Okay, so that's all you do, square root this number. So here I have, given the equation of a circle, what is the radius? So I know this number was radius squared, right? So you can also set up an equation, and we've done these before, equals 20. So how do you find what what r is? R squared equals 20. Remember, you square root both sides. So my radius is the square root of 20. The square root of 20. So it would be C. Okay, find number 12. What is the radius of this equation? Okay, so remember, this is my radius squared. So my radius squared is 9. So I square root both sides. So my radius is the square root of 9. And the square root of 9 is 3. So this is 3. Okay, the next page is practice problems that are for a grade. Okay, find the center, radius, and equation. So my center is 1, 1, and my radius is 1, 2. I just count for my circle from the center out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my radius is 4. So let's write the equation. Okay, so we have x minus 1 squared, y minus 1 squared, equals my radius squared. My radius is 4. So I'm going to put 4 squared. So I rewrite it, and I'm going to just rewrite this exactly the way it is, but I'm going to put 16 at the end. Equals 16. Okay, perfect. I don't have to change the sign because these were positives. Okay, let's do number 1. What is the equation of a circle with a center of 5, -4, and a radius of 3? Which equation would you choose, A, B, or C for number 1? Okay, let's try number 2. What is the equation of a circle with a center of 7, -12, and a radius of 4? Which equation would you choose, A, B, or C? Okay, let's try number 3. What is the equation of a circle with a center of -9, -7, and a radius of 10? Which equation would you choose, A, B, or C? Good, you should have chosen B because you have a minus -9, which gives you a positive, and a minus -7, which would give you a positive 7 squared. And my radius is 10, so 10 squared would be 100. Let's look at number 4. It says, given the equation of the circle, x minus 12 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 12, what is the radius? So look at 12. Remember, my radius is, my radius squared is 12. My radius is not 12. The radius squared is 12. So to find the radius, you have to square root both sides. So my radius is the square root of 12. Square root of 12. Okay. Now what is the center? Well, my center is going to be these two numbers, right? But the equation has to have a minus sign. So that has a minus sign, so that's perfect. So my center is 12. So this side doesn't have a minus sign, so I know it's a minus negative. So then I know it's going to be a -3. That's my center. Go ahead and try number 5. What is the radius? Is it square root of 4, square root of 64, or square root of 8? A, B, or C? Look back at your notes. Let's do number 6. What is my center, my radius, and the equation? Okay, try number 9. What is the center of number 9? Count it. What is the radius? And what is the equation? And we're done. Don't forget, you can come in for tutorials today during advisory. Explain the steps in writing the equation number 8 above. So just explain how would you write the equation of number 8 above. You can write that on your notes. And then we have a review for the test, which is on Canvas. Okay, bye guys.